Isn't it amazing how many variations of Christmas wrapping paper there are? I mean, look at this. You got a design here that is a Christmas woods with a cabin. You got ones with ornaments. You got ones with snowmen on it. You also have, and I'm dropping on the floor, you also got ones with candy canes on it. I mean, there's so many different variations of Christmas wrapping. I mean, hell, it doesn't even have to be Christmas-related themed to make the wrapping paper look presentable and good that you'll be shredding up on Christmas morning once you open the presents that Santa Claus has left you underneath the tree. But the real question is there a Santa Claus? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I really don't know where to begin, where to start, or even how I'm going to even talk about this particular movie. I remember some time ago I talked about the first Santa Claus movie, and I said that movie was a lot of fun, and I gave it a passable grade if memory speaks correctly. But now, here I am talking about the sequel, the Santa Claus 2. And I'm going to try, and I'm probably going to keep this review as short as I possibly can because I selected this movie, I watched it for all of its glory that is given, and it's there. I know there was a third one where it was him and Jack Frost, and I think there was a fourth one as well that I have no recollection or memories at all of. But I did see this movie, and this one did have a story to it that it's there, and I will give my quick little thoughts about it. Now, if you want to know what the Santa Claus 2 was about, remember in the first movie, in that film, it was about him becoming Santa Claus, thinking it was a dream, but in reality, he actually does become Santa Claus, and thus turns out to be a really good Santa Claus. And I give Tim Allen credit, is that he does portray a really good Santa Claus. Now, in this movie, Santa Claus is eager to find himself a wife. But here's the thing, before getting to that, he learns about his son Charlie, who's a little bit older now. He is on the naughty list, and he has to go back into the real world and help him become good. And he's got to find himself a wife to become Mrs. Claus, or else he's no longer going to be Santa at all. So Scott Calvin's got a replacement fake Santa that ends up turning evil, trying to ruin the entire operation that Santa has, thus leading into attempting of ruining the North Pole. It's funny how this evil Santa Claus turns out to be comedic in the most ridiculous manner. Thus, he also becomes a dictator dressing in very bizarre clothing. Now, as for the pros, the good things I can say about it, the North Pole looks great, the elves are adorable, the opening scene was not bad at all. I mean, the costume design for the people dressed like Mother Nature, the Easter Bunny, and whatever iconic holiday figures are out there, the Leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day, or fucking Jack the Pumpkin, Peter Pumpkinhead, or whatever the fuck his name was. But, I mean, that was okay. Tim Allen, like I said, portrays a fun Santa Claus. But as for the cons, he's trying to reconnect with his son. I mean, that little demeanor was okay. The love interest was there. Obviously, scenes where he meets up with other adults, trying to reconnect with their childhoods and so on and so forth, trying to show that he's a good person, while trying to hide the secret that he's Santa Claus, especially from his children, and so on and so forth. It's all there, but I just didn't necessarily connect or have a soft spot for this film at all in terms of trying to grow a connection with it. I felt the Christmas spirit when watching the opening act, but once it dove right into the story itself, it just didn't really connect with me. I mean, I watched it, I had a few smiling moments, especially with how him and Mrs. Claus were becoming to be, how he liked her, and wanting to connect, bringing her to the North Pole, showing that he's Santa Claus and all that. making it look like it's an imagination at first, but in the end, it really wasn't. So they get married. I mean, I'm sure it's obvious enough they end up getting married, but just the whole story and build-up of how they met and falling in love. I mean, I've seen it in Hallmark films multiple upon multiple times. Not where one guy turns into Santa Claus, but just the idea of falling in love on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, or just falling in love throughout the month of December, thus leading into getting wedded on Christmas Eve. I've seen it done in how many Hallmark films? Nothing new to me at all. And I'm pretty sure a lot of Hallmark movies get inspired from watching this particular film to create those stories. The evil Santa Claus was just fucking goofy, and he was there, and it was all just hokey, silly shit. So, I guess that's all I can really say about the Santa Claus 2, because I honestly want to dive into the next review coming up. So, folks, overall about the Santa Claus 2, it was a sequel that was there. The love interest, you probably might have a nice little watch with that, or it might make you smile, and probably going to be people saying the Santa Claus 2 was actually not bad and watchable and a fun Christmas movie. For those who like that kind of thing, well, this is the kind of thing that you probably liked. But then again, I've seen it done in Hallmark films. The story didn't necessarily click with me at all. I mean, seeing the reoccurring characters that he has, the reindeers were fucking goofy and silly. And again, positive that I give respect for Tim Allen playing a good Santa Claus and looking like it and having that jolly spirit that Santa Claus has. But in the real world, I've seen the love story before, and it didn't click with me, especially the fact that you got to turn your child who's been on the naughty list good again. I've seen that done before, too. So, the Santa Claus 2 was a movie that I gave a 2 out of 5 to. May sound generous, but it was an okay sequel with me. So, folks, let me know down below your thoughts about the Santa Claus 2, and we're going to get into our next review. We're going to be talking about a bit of a better movie. So, stay tuned for that.